Alrighty, so this is the setup for the tug of war. Emily has her tender removed because it isn't really fair and will stretch the coupling on her. And using my special joining mechanism, we can have these two engines operating. However, these tests will have to be done in both directions, because as we know, the track is so unpredictable that even with these results, I'm not sure if they're actually going to be fair. But we'll have to wait and find out. Each engine is wound until they cannot be wound any further. So this will not only test the engine's strength, but also which one has the most winding power. Which you would think would be the same, seeing they all use the same design. Okay, both engines are ready. And they're off. Or they're not. Well, there you have it. A complete stalemate. Neither engine is moving. Nope. They're exactly as strong as each other. So what if we move them onto something a little bit smoother, like tiles? Floorboards. Thomas is still in the lead. Nope, Thomas is still getting far more traction than Emily. And it looks like we've got a winner. Well, there you go. It seems on the train track, neither engine could possibly move each other, because the grip system isn't being designed too well. But on the floorboards, on the smooth surfaces, Thomas has proven himself far more worthy than his larger tender engine counterpart. So now let's see how two supposedly tender engines go up against each other. Alrighty, so now it's James, the tender engine, or the not so tender engine, versus Emily, the engine who's missing her tender. Alrighty, here goes. 3, 2, 1. And once again, we have nothing. No movement from either side. Okay, let's try moving them out onto the smooth surface. 3, 2, 1. Well, I think that's an answer, isn't it? It seems that both Thomas and James, which both, whether coincidence or not, are the Australian versions, have beaten Emily, or the Japanese version of the train, at their own game. So what's going to happen if we put the two Australian trains next to each other? The final test of strength. Alrighty, it's these two Australian engines facing off against each other. Will it be Thomas, the cheeky little tank engine, or James, the tender engine that isn't, who's going to take out the title of the strongest wind-up train? Alrighty, we'll wind them up and we'll see what happens. Alrighty, they've been wound, so here goes. 3, 2, 1. Well, there you have it. Evidently this track is so grippy and the little gears notched into the wheels have made these engines not even be able to pull each other. So if we move down onto the smooth surface... No way! I refuse to believe it. But it's true. It seems Thomas has been outdone by James, and even with James stopped, Thomas can't pull him out of the way. So there you go. Very interesting revelation. James, followed by Thomas, and then, at a dismal last, Emily, is the order of the strongest engines on this railway. But now we ask the next question. How strong are these engines when pulling trucks? So then we have to ask the test of strength. Now, because of the nature of this track, this test is going to be somewhat difficult. However, this is how I'm going to conduct it. Each engine will be loaded with as many coaches or trucks as they can, and it will be seen until either they stop or, more importantly, where they make it up the hill section of track. And so now let's see how many we can fit onto Thomas. Well, there you go. Thomas made it up the hill, but now he's stuck here. Interesting. If I readjust the track, we'll try it again and see if we can get Thomas to pull 2 carriages up and over the other side of it. Alrighty, take 2. And there you have it. Thomas can pull 2 carriages over the hill. And he's still going strong now. Well, he was going strong anyway. Let's try with... Alrighty, here goes. Come on. Just. With a little bit of help, Thomas can make it over with 3 carriages. And as you can see, he's a little bit more lethargic than he was the first time. Alrighty. 4 trucks. Yep. And it's too much for tiny Thomas. It seems that even with the grip system, Thomas isn't going to get more than 4 trucks. So now that he's at the benchmark, let's see. Alrighty, let's see if James can do 4 trucks. Yes, I lied. Now it's James instead of Emily. Nope. Okay, we'll try it with 3 trucks. Interesting. It looks like, even though Thomas got beaten by James, James is actually stronger when pulling coaches. Now, despite Emily being a tender engine, it's only fair that we use the same 3 coaches, so she's going to be running without her tender. Alrighty, 3 trucks for Emily, if she can survive the curve. And there you go. Emily just manages to make it up the hill. And back to the start. 4 trucks. And there you go. Emily makes it with 4 over the hill, despite being the weakest when put up against the other 2 wind-up engines. Let's try with 5. Alrighty, Emily with 4 coaches, plus her tender, which I suppose counts as a 5th one. Okay. This is getting weirder and weirder as we go along. It's a little bit slow, she dangerous rails on the curve, but she still makes it over the hill. Alrighty, Emily, 6. Okay, her train derailed, but we'll continue. And she derailed on the curve. Evidently she doesn't like go around curves with a heavy train. And... there you go. Just makes it over. However, although she could probably pull maybe 1 or 2 other coaches over this hill, I think the fact that with all these coaches she keeps derailing, that's definitely the limit of her strength. But isn't that interesting? The engine that's weakest against the other engines happens to be the best at climbing the hills and pulling other trucks and coaches. These wind-ups sure are weird. But now finally... Alrighty. Due to the uncertain nature of this track, and as we've seen, the way that trains often derail when going around corners, and even up hills and down hills, I believe a much fairer test would be to see how fast I can complete 1 metre stretch. So the way this is going to work is, all the engines tend to tilt in a certain direction when they're going along a smooth surface. Most of the time, it's towards this way, or this way. And so, by lining the engine up this side, which one side of a metre rule, we can make it travel in a straight line. Therefore, the fastest engine to get from the 1 metre mark down to the 0 centimetre mark is the fastest engine. Alrighty, each engine will be wound until it cannot be wound any further, just like in the tug-of-war test. It'll be which part of the engine, the buffers, passes past the end of the measuring tape. Alrighty. So, here we go. 3, 2, 1. And after a stunning finish, Emily's completed the track in 3.18 seconds. Alrighty, the next engine, James, is ready to go. He's fully wound. 3, 2, 1. And once again, just as Emily did, he hits the end of the track. And James is a little bit slower than Emily, at 3.6 seconds. And so now there's only one competitor left. Alrighty, with Thomas fully wound, ready to go. 3, 2, oh, we've had a movement in the track. 3, 2, 1. And there we go, there we have Thomas, who's now going on ahead to push the racing track into the camera. And Thomas having a slightly faster. So, with all the results added together, which of these three engines is actually the best? Well, by adding together the positions each engine got in each of the competitions, the engine with the lowest score, therefore would have the highest and best rating. There was Emily, in first place, coming first in 2 of the tests, and only coming third in the tug of war. Then we had James, in third place, coming third in both the pulling and the speed test, while coming first in the tug of war. And we had Thomas, coming a nice second. Unfortunately, it doesn't match his number. Coming second in everything he did. However, whether these results are actually true or not can be debated. Of course, the speed test can be done again, and all these tests can be recreated. Because as we can see, despite the fact that these are meant to have the same motors in them, Emily, who won, also happens to be the engine who came from Japan. Maybe they're manufactured differently there, for the different markets. Who knows? So I invite anyone who has these wind-up trains to conduct these kind of tests on your own, and see which engines you come out the fastest. And let's just hope that there's not something even stranger going on with these trains, as we've seen from such brands. And so, if anyone please respond to this video if you have seen any or more of these Japanese trains, if you can read any of the Japanese written on the trains, or if you've got anything to say about these trains. Because it seems that the further and further we delve into the world of Thomas, as not only Leo can video, but we've all found out, the stranger and weirder it becomes. Well, that's all for now from TrainzXtreme.